A lot of people in the B2B space do indeed sell a service. They sell their knowledge, their wisdom, their expertise. And even if they don't, they might have a productized service, such as software as a service. Your future customers and clients don't like buying services. And the reason why they don't like buying services is that they associate services with time. If I'm going to hire a lawyer, it's going to be about time. If I'm going to hire a plumber, it's usually about their time. But you know what people love to buy? They love to buy things. Indeed, the first thing that goes through the mind of your customers and clients when they, land on your website, meet you at a networking event, have a strategy call or a sales conversation with you, is that what they really want to know is, what do I get? What do I get from this? What do I get from this particular transaction that's about to happen? And if you can take what they get and transform it into something that sounds more like a thing, it's going to be easier to sell it. They don't want to sign up with you and then cop ongoing dribs and drabs of payments here and there. They don't even want to be on a retainer. They do not want to buy your time. They want to buy things. And the moment that you can step back and think about the world in that way, again, this is a mindset shift. Here's what people want to buy: outcomes, things, and feelings. So an outcome in its own way is a thing. So if I say 10 more clients, that is an outcome. If I say times 10 year revenue, that there is an outcome, right? But it's presented as a thing. Then when I say thing, it's not, hey, hang out with me. It might be a 6-week program, a 6-week methodology, a 6-week process. These are all things: outcomes, things, and feelings. Now, feelings, of course, are not things, but feelings are also not time. If you're in the business of selling services, I want you to take a step back and go, how would I reposition what I do if I were to be selling it as a thing? Now on the screen right now, you can see something that we call our B2B product ecosystem. And you can also see the line, smaller promises get faster decisions. And if we are selling a service, it is always by its nature a big promise, because we're offering us, right? Our time, our expertise. And that can be intimidating for a lot of different people. But when somebody comes into your world, they're going through a mental journey. They're starting off as a stranger, then they become a suspect, then they become a prospect, then they become a client. And the reality is at these different stages, their mindset will shift. So a stranger might have a headache. They don't fully understand yet that you can help them. All they know is that they have a problem that they want fixed. Then when they slide into your world, they become a suspect. Now, suspects are suspicious. They see all the reasons why it's not going to work. So if you can present to them a way that's going to show them how to get from A to B in a very methodical way, that's very, very reassuring. This is unlike me saying, just spend time with me and I'll fix your problems. I'm promoting my methodology, my method. Then they shift into prospect mode, and then we can start to talk about their goals, their desires, their aspirations, right? But again, if we can talk about one outcome or one specific outcome and frame it into something a little bit smaller, people are more likely to say yes. And then when they become a client, then we can introduce bigger picture stuff like their broader desires. But I meet people and I say, what do you do? And they say, I'm a transformation expert, right? How are you going to transform me? like a transformer? And they go, well, it all just depends on you. It's not reassuring at all. Now, as you can see, this is also the steps and stages in not just the buying cycle, but a sales process. And that means that when it comes to a stranger, what we can do is we can sell them a gift. Now, it's not a free gift, because the price is always going to be something like first name, last name, email address, and phone number. But what would be an example of a gift that we can sell to a stranger? The most obvious option is going to be something like a lead magnet. I download it, and the cost is first name, last name, email address, and phone number. But what we're doing with a lead magnet is we're taking your knowledge, your wisdom, your skills, your expertise, and we're turning it into a thing. We've productized your knowledge. And that is one of the smartest, easiest things that a business can do if you want to start taking your wisdom, your knowledge, your skills, your expertise, and turning it into a product that doesn't purely depend on you. Now, if someone is a suspect, sure, you're probably going to need to have a conversation. So what you do is you try and book a breakthrough session or a discovery call, or let's catch up and explore ways that I can support you. And what we're doing here is we're selling time. we're also selling our own personal expertise, and it's not reassuring. So once again, how can we take your meeting, your boring, vague invitation to catch up and turn it into a thing? Now, we talk about something called an AWP. And an AWP is a productized meeting. It's an appointment with purpose. And someone books the meeting because they're seeking a specific outcome. So if you're in the business of search engine optimization, you would sell an SEO audit. If you're in the business of what we do, we might offer a B2B funnel mapping call. But you can see these words like audit, map, situation analysis. These are all things. These are all things that someone is going to get as an outcome of the call. We call this a product for a suspect is an AWP. As your business grows, you might shift from that being a meeting to an actual product itself. So for example, it might be a webinar, or it might be a mini course or something like that. And in that instance, people stop paying for it with their time. They'll pay for it with cold hard cash. And what we've done is, once again, we've taken the next step to productizing your IP, your wisdom, your expertise. Then we get to the prospect stage, and this is where we want to sell something like a hero product. A hero product, which is a small scaled down version of what it is that you do that only has one outcome attached to it. We call this a high no-brainer. And a high no-brainer is where you sell one thing that's packaged up, yes, as a product with a little bit of a bow, put it in a box, give it a name. It's usually got a time frame attached to it. Get this specific outcome using this particular methodology in this particular time frame. It could be as simple as a one-day planning session, because a one-day planning session, $3,000 one-day planning session, $12,000 one-day planning session, but it's a high no-brainer. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's not cheap, but someone looks at it and it's outcome focused because we are focused on aspirations. Then when somebody does that, then we can say, hey, this is really, really cool. We've broken down all the things that are perhaps wrong with your business, that are not optimal. And what we're going to do is we're going to take those things, and over the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, we can fix those things. This is at which point people say, why don't you sign me up for a retainer or an ongoing service fee? But no. If you can break down what you do into phases or stages or sprints, suddenly you can have a program. It's a 3-part program, 3 months per program. Can you see that this is suddenly a thing? Now, if I join these two bits together, times 10 is easier than times 2. And I'm going to give you an example.